Well, we're back to finally put Final Fantasy XIII to bed. Now, there is one thing I did want to mention, that there are summons in this game.
But they're not...
They brought back the classic names, keyword being names. All the summons are completely redesigned and different.
Well, not all the summons are... Yeah, not all the summons are the same as before. You get Odin, you get... Well, not even Shiva. It's the Shiva sisters.
Yeah, there's two of them.
And then you get Bahamut. Those are the only original summons. All the... Oh, and Alexander.
Yeah.
The other ones are new and completely retarded.
Now they put a gimmick in with these summons in that all of them transform into vehicles.
Except for Alexander, who turns into a giant wall.
He turns into a fortress.
Which, actually, I used him once and he's pretty good. I liked him.
Yeah, for the most part, the summons are...
rather useless.
Pretty fucking stupid.
And useless, too. I did a normal battle with my team. I won that battle in less than 10 seconds, like that. I did the same battle with a summon, and the summon couldn't even kill the enemies along with me.
Yeah, the only useful purpose for the summons, or at least for one summon, is grinding experience points from
the
tough
giant
enemies.
adamantoids. That's the only reason to use... That, and also if you know that an enemy's going to use an attack that's going to kill you, summon an Eidolon and it'll save you. Which brings us to our next point. The stupid difficulty of the battles. The artificial difficulty of the battles. What do I mean by that? I mean difficulty that should not be there. Because if your normally in the game, if your main character dies, you'll switch to another party member and take control of them. In this game, if your main character dies, it's game over.
Game over. And it doesn't really make much sense that they have that, because the game doesn't punish you for dying. This is the first Final Fantasy to not punish you for dying.
Yeah. In most Final Fantasies, you'll have to reload your game back to the last save point. In this game, you just say retry, and it'll take you to the moment right before you got into the battle.
Yeah. So, you can die 1,000 times, and in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing. It just, well, you lose time.
Yeah.
You know, time to do the battle again. The game doesn't punish you for dying. So what's the point of having the artificial difficulty? What's the point of when your main character dies that you have to start the battle over?
The point for us was it annoyed us because...
It's really fucking annoying, and I'll tell you why. The second to last form of the last boss, it has this fucking ability that will randomly kill one character automatically, and there's nothing you can do about it. So when he does it on your main character, game over, do it again. And this isn't a short battle. This is a battle that takes a good 20 minutes.
It basically comes down to, it doesn't have anything to do with skill. It has to do with luck. If you're lucky, your main character will survive.
Now, game developers, if you are watching this, never, ever, ever, ever do this in a game. Do not put a randomness into an enemy that can just randomly kill you.
And end the game.
It's not fair.
It's if the game chooses to let you win. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, basically.
Make it like in 12. That was good, where if your main character dies, okay, I get switched over to another character.
Yeah. You don't bring in a random element that you have zero means of countering. You have zero means of developing a strategy to countering. I died 5 times on this boss fight because of that one reason. 5 times! So I spent a good hour just playing that one battle.
Yeah, so it's all about luck. And
I hate it when a game does that, when it's just like, you only succeed if you're lucky.
Yeah. Okay, and after artificial difficulty, we come to the next thing. Artificial length. This game took about 50 hours to beat, but I would say a good 1/3 of that is just straight up grinding.
Yeah, you will grind yourself stupid in this game.
Because you have to.
If you want to be competitive in battle, you will have to spend a good 2 hours at least.
In each chapter.
In the minimum on each chapter. And now there's 13 chapters. Well, 2 hours, that's 26 hours of grinding. Of essential grinding.
Now, the level up system, I did like the way they did it, but...
Oh yeah, there was that. It's essentially a dumbed-down version of 10.
Yeah, but still, just the amount of grinding you have to do is insane. I also hate the fact that after you beat the game, you unlock the highest tier level that you can get to. So what's the point of that? I want to get to the highest tier so I can beat the final boss. After I beat it, what's the point? I don't want to go do all the stupid freaking hunts. I don't want to do the 1 or 2 side missions this game has. Yeah. I just don't want to do it. I'm done with it.
Yeah. And that kind of brings me to the one big thing about this game is it has to do with the title, Final Fantasy. When you buy a Final Fantasy game, there are certain expectations, and this game fails on all of them.
I want to go into a stranger's house, rifle through their stuff, and steal their treasure. I don't get to do that in this game.
There's no town. You don't go into any towns.
It's a straight up dungeon after dungeon after dungeon.
No world exploration.
Except for a little later in the game, but even when you get to that point, just about everything kills you if you try to explore.
Yeah, so you have to beat the game in order to be competitive in the world exploration. Bullshit. So, the whole game is 100% linear, something that Final Fantasy has never done. It's just utterly
Here,
ridiculous.
Let me make this game a little bit better. There we go. If we take out that title of Final Fantasy, instantly becomes a lot more likable to me.
Yeah, if it was called anything else than Final Fantasy, it would make it better. Chances are I wouldn't have played it. The only reason why I played it is because it had the title of Final Fantasy. Now, we've been coming to you on the perspective of me being an old school Final Fantasy fan. You're kind of a new school with the 7 and up.
I started playing at 7. I played the old school. I really liked the old school, but yeah, I started at 7.
It just amazes me that a game that was made back in the 90s, early 90s, Final Fantasy, at the time they were 2 and 3, but they're 4 and 6, are 100 times better than a game that came out in 2010.
Clear proof that graphics do not make the game.
And when you start sacrificing story and character development for graphics, you got a major problem here. I'm officially saying, like, Final Fantasy is dead to me.
This game killed it. It's not Final Fantasy, so our final review of it. Our final review is you can skip it.
It is a major skip. I'm not going to say it's the worst Final Fantasy ever, because I think 10 was a lot. I hated 10 more.
Really, 10? I thought you really liked.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8. Sorry,
8.
I kind of really like. I did like 10. 10 was kind of a mixed bag, but that's a totally different review.
8 was incredibly bad, along with 2, and this has now joined those ranks, along with 10 too.
And Final Fantasy XI, and possibly the upcoming 14.
I enjoyed 11 for an MMO. I don't count that as part of the main series. That's separate on its own pedestal. That MMORPGs, even if it's based on a series, do not belong with the series that it was created by, including Final Fantasy. That's separate.
So, in conclusion,
skip it. Don't play it.
It's, as an old school Final Fantasy fan, it's very disappointing to see what has happened in the series. It used to mean something to say that you were a Final Fantasy fan, because there weren't very many games, and they were the highest of quality. Nowadays, there's so many games that bear the title of Final Fantasy.
It's insane.
And a good chunk of those games really suck. There's zero quality control. They're just shitting this stuff out, and it needs to stop.
So
I'm of the opinion that Final Fantasy needs to be brought back behind the shed with Sonic and have their fucking brains blown out.
Okay, we're running out of time. I gotta stop you. Yeah, otherwise we'll just keep going.
I'll go on forever.
All right. So thank you for watching. Just skip this game. It's not that good.
All right.
And if you don't like it, well then, in this case, you're just retarded.
Okay.